Alrighty guys, what is going on everybody? Welcome back here to another tropical weather update. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday out there. Glad to have everybody here for the live stream. Let's go ahead and see who we got ourselves here in the chat. We got ourselves, let's see here, TRG, we have Liam, we have Poland, we have Mark, we have Crystal, we have Carson, we have Pilot, we have Kala, we have Logan, we have Hunter. Let's see, we got Scott, we have Cody, we have, let's see here, Wallflower, we have Hutman. Let's see here. What's up, everybody? Let's see. Andrew, you're 2 minutes and 47 seconds late going live. You know what, man? You're right. I should have just ended it right away. Anyways, guys, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. Let's see. Pilot says, hello, Andrew. How am I doing? I'm doing pretty good. Hope you're doing good yourself. Like I said, glad to have you here. Anyways, but like I said, yeah, no, the system, we are still watching it. Right now, it is a Cat 1. We're still talking sustained winds of 85. That hasn't changed since this morning's update here overall. So sustained winds of 85 with gusts up to 105 in general. We're talking pressure here of, kind of right around 956 millibars as of right now. But overall, look how massive the wind field is. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. The wind field, like I said, we were measuring this here earlier. I just measured it before I went live. And this thing is literally like 575 miles wide for the tropical storm force winds, I should say. 600 miles tall regarding those tropical storm force conditions, at least tropical storm force conditions. And of course, they're, across the course of, or across there, of course. I can't talk, y'all. Across the center, of course. That's what I was wanting to say. We are seeing the width of hurricane force winds around 183 miles right there. So that is that. Let's see. Bro has a lot more hair than 2 weeks ago. What? It's all nice and put up now. Compared to this morning, it was terrible. But no, it's a real big storm here, guys, overall. Whenever it comes to it, like I said, we are still expecting that landfall point to more than likely be across western Nova Scotia here. They did actually upgrade. They actually updated it to now be up to sustained winds of 70 with gusts up to 85 just before landfall here across Nova Scotia. Which at this point in being, it would be right around, it'd be right around pretty much the afternoon of the 16th. It seems like that's actually been pushed forward a little bit. Obviously we have, it's still remaining a Category 1 hurricane here for basically the early morning here of the 16th, with sustained winds still of 80 with gusts up to 100 here in general. Now we do got some new updates, y'all. We got some new updates regarding this map. Things have actually significantly changed here over at the expected rainfall and everything like that. I mean, we have literally seen a massive update here. Came from the Weather Prediction Center here overall regarding the expected rainfall amounts in general. And we are seeing the possibility across areas here of, Cape Cod. We were previously in that 2 to 4 inch range, and now we are seeing it right in the realms of 1 to 2 inches being a possibility. So not as much rainfall for areas towards, Nantucket as well as Cape Cod. Things are definitely, looking a little bit lower out there, which is good. They actually removed that 4 to 6 inch margin. Like I was saying, it's a really big update here. They also did, like I said, they have 2 to 4 inches of rainfall expected to see across the eastern side here of Maine in general. So that's kind of, what we're seeing here in general. Like I said, the highest rainfall out of this system in the United States will be across basically eastern Maine in general. So we'll definitely need to be looking out there for that. What's up, JJ? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. What's up, Pilot? I already said hi to you. Hope you're doing good, man. Let's see here. What's up, Carson? Hope you're good. Let's see here. Let's see. Eli's mama says hi from the southeast Massachusetts. Do I have time frame of when I'll be impacted? Let's see. I have to do work all day, and I'm getting nervous. So the worst of it's going to be felt in the morning by Massachusetts. Kind of there right around 8 a.m. or so is kind of what we were forecasting the heaviest of it to be. It's probably going to be somewhere around in that time. So it'll be kind of like late morning is like the heaviest impacts here overall. Now, that's kind of what we're talking about. Now, whenever it comes to the winds here, I'm actually going to bring you all over here to this. Let's see, we're already on the main screen. So let's go ahead and hop you all over here to the National Weather Service blend of models here. Because I need to show you guys the latest wind speeds here regarding the NWS blend of models here. So let's go ahead and hop you guys up here to the northeast, and we'll take a look at those wind gusts. Now, that's what the winds could get up to in general here. Anyways, we track our way down in time. Whenever it comes to it here, we are basically seeing, the heaviest winds approach areas here by, Cape Cod, right there around, like I said, 8 o'clock a.m. there in general. Let's see here. Hope coming in with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Hope. That's very sweet of you, saying thank you. You are very welcome. Thank you so much, Hope, for the donation. That's very nice of you. Big, big shout out goes to you. Thank you. Very, very sweet. I appreciate that much. Really helps out. Thank you so, so much for that. But yeah, like I was saying here, though, is the heaviest impacts are going to be felt there. What the heck is going on with my camera? What? Bro, excuse me? Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. What the heck? What is my camera doing? Let's see. Oh my gosh! What is going on? Hold on. Oh no! It's messing up. Oh my god. Hold on, guys. I can't. Hold on. I can't. Let's see. Let's try to get this back up again. Alright, we're good. We're good. Oh my gosh, dude. That was funny. Okay. Anyway, sorry, y'all. But my camera decided it did some funky stuff there. Let's see, the Kentucky Wi-Fi. It was not my Wi-Fi. It was my connection there. Holy cow. Okay, we're back. Sorry. That was definitely interesting. But yeah, like I was saying, though, is the heaviest is going to be, affected here for the morning of, like I said, the morning here of Saturday in general. Like I said, we are going to be seeing those winds to be right around, possibly 50 to 60 miles per hour in terms of wind gusts out there being a good shot. And like I said, across areas here of, the northeast, further up in the northeast, like Maine, we're talking literally across a lot of Maine here, potentially in the realms of, 40 to 50 miles per hour in general. Let's see here. Let's see, Slenderman. Gosh, no. My mom loves your music, at least the singer with the same name. There's no singers in that intro music. Let's see here. Got hit by a solar flare. Bro, I don't know what happened. I don't know. Dude, that was funny. That was the laugh of the stream there. That was hilarious. Like, I don't know what has started happening. Okay. Anyways, back to the subject here of Lee. But yeah, obviously the heaviest winds are going to be felt across portions here of, Nantucket, Cape Cod, and basically the northeast here of, the eastern coast of Maine overall. Like I said, a lot of Maine is going to be feeling some heavy wind gusts between 40 to 50 miles per hour. We're going to be actually feeling a lot of, winds out here. I mean, even across portions of like Connecticut, Rhode Island, it could definitely still get up into the overall into the 30s and stuff. Let's see here. Got myself a donation coming in here from Terry on Venmo. Thank you so much, Terry. Let's see here. Thank you from Eli's mom. Oh, that's very sweet of you. Thank you so much. Big, big thank you. See, from Eli's mom. Thank you so much. Very sweet of you. Let's see here. Good evening, James. Let's see. Is it possible Eastern Connecticut could get tropical storm force winds? So let me show you where the warnings and stuff are. So, like I said, we have actually new warnings and, new watches and stuff like that came out. So you said for where was that at? In Eastern Connecticut. Okay. They don't have tropical storm warnings. I would personally say that tropical storm gusts could be possible. Cause like I was explaining here, according to the blend of models is the one you should probably take off of it. We are seeing, across those regions, they are still getting up maybe to around 30 miles an hour, which, I mean, I feel like it could gust a little heavier. I mean, obviously the model is not going to be perfect, but it's a possibility. It's possible you could get some wind gusts up to tropical storm force, but sustained winds, no. Overall, that's that. Let's see here. What's the update for Dover, New Hampshire? So whenever it comes to, let's see here, Dover, is it Dover, New Hampshire, you said? Oh, there we go. Okay, by the coast. Yeah, so out there it's going to be gusting pretty good overall. I mean, we're talking, winds up to 40, mile per hour wind gusts, 40s, I'd say 50s max. Now, whenever it comes to the surges, this is something we did not mention, but they did actually drop. They dropped the surges. Because before it was showing right there between 2 and 4 foot, right? It was showing right there between 2 and 4 foot of surges happening out there by Nantucket, as well as Cape Cod, and now we are, like I said, now we are seeing, the system here, only expected to produce up to 1 to 3 foot. That's kind of the way how it is for most of these places. I mean, literally going from the coast of Connecticut. There, let's see, make that a little bigger. All the way from the coast of Connecticut through the coast of Rhode Island, throughout portions here of Nantucket, up through Cape Cod, and obviously up there through New Hampshire's coast, and literally the entire coast of Maine. We are talking the system here being, right around 1 to 3 foot of storm surge. I mean, it's more on the mild side of storm surge, but still 1 to 3 foot could definitely still cause some impacts in general. But I still believe that the heaviest areas that's going to see those, storm surges is areas here by Cape Cod. I mean, considering, like I said, we have this low pressure system that's going to be, like I said, throwing down a bunch of, throwing those winds all around here in general. So that is kind of what we're seeing here. So we have ourselves, a lot of that wind that's going to be pushing towards those areas in general. So a lot of wind, is going to be pushing towards Cape Cod, and that's actually going to cause a lot of the water to move in those regions as well. So that's definitely something to, to watch out there for. But like I said, they definitely did, they definitely did drop those from 2 to 4 to now 1 to 3. So that's, a step in the right direction in general. And like I said, with the rainfall too, I mean, they completely changed that, the overall outlook. They completely redone it all. Like I was explaining to you guys, I mentioned this yesterday. I don't know if you guys were here or not. If some of you guys were here, you probably remember me saying this. I was saying that, these Weather Prediction Center rainfall outlooks, they change very quickly. So if one moment you're not expecting to see much, don't be surprised if the next update something pops up for your area. Like I said, in terms of the in terms of the Weather Prediction Center outlook, it is not perfect. I mean, because obviously earlier this morning we were seeing these areas that's in the 2 to 4 inch to be there in the 4 to 6 inch zone. So obviously there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of changes that's actually happened here since this last update here in general. But that's that. Let's see here. How much rain in Dover? So out there by Dover, we're talking actually less than an inch. Seems to be a good possibility. Your main concern out there is probably going to be just winds, some gusty winds out there. Let's see. Lee was so beautiful at the peak. Yeah, it was a crazy storm in the beginning. That's for sure. Let's see here. This has nothing to do with the hurricane. Worried for the weekend, says Kimmy. I got you. Yeah, like I said, right now, I don't know what you're worried exactly about, but my friend was actually mentioning to me, this is something I'm going to briefly talk about real quickly, is, we actually are seeing a little trough roll down here. We actually have ourselves, a little area of low pressure that's going to be working its way here, maybe later on down in time. That could spark a little bit of severe weather at some point across the Central Plains. We'll watch it. I mean, if that's what you're wondering about, that's something that's in the long range that we might need to monitor, but just wanted to mention that real quickly. Like I said, I'm still not, sold on the fact that this thing is gonna, happen, but anyways, but let's go and hop over here. Here's the satellite view. Lee's not looking too good right now. Like we were seeing this morning, we were seeing a lot of dry air really start to infiltrate the storm, and we haven't even reached the thickest of the dry air in general. And like I was explaining before a couple days ago, how the convection is going to be posted on the western side mostly. Central side's obviously going to have some rain. I mean, all the sides are going to have rain, but you see just how much more dry it is on the eastern flank. There's not as much convection. There's not as much shower activity, thunderstorm activity going on right now. Like I said, it's definitely not doing not doing the best, because there's a lot of dry air even towards the core of the storm. It's just taking in a lot of dry air, and it's just going to continue to pull in a lot more and a lot more dry air in general. Is there any way this could track to the west, or sorry, just track in general? Probably not. No, honestly, the models have been pretty set on where they're going to be for the last few days actually. I think it's a little glitched here. But no, all the main models has this thing. This is not the spaghetti model. It's actually a group of ensembles from the GEPS model. But like I said, we have ourselves the like I said, most of the models has this thing actually, impacting Western Nova Scotia. That seems to be the most likely scenario. Let me actually hop you guys over here to this perspective. Here is all the models. You can see all the main hurricane models. Each line represents a hurricane model. And you can see the main density of those models has it going like right over here. I mean, literally slamming into the southern side, I'd call it, the southwestern southern side of Nova Scotia. Seems like that is the region that's going to be taking the heaviest hits in general. And like I said, obviously for places out there by, coastal Nova Scotia, in these regions here, I mean, we're going to be seeing possibly a lot of surges out there. That's probably where the heaviest surging is going to occur out of the system. We'll be, out there by basically central Nova Scotia there. I'd even say by like Halifax too. I mean, some of that swelling could work its way into that little channel there. So, there's going to be a bit of surging. So the water level is going to rise above sea level a couple feet, more than likely, as the system does roll its way towards those, general areas. Let's see here. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at here. Let's see, what should we expect up in Auburn, Maine? Let's see here. Where is Auburn, Maine? I found Augusta, Maine. Let me look this up real quickly. Let's see here. Auburn, Maine. Here we go. So this is kind of hit my desk there. So this is on the southern side. So let's go ahead and hop you guys back over here to my full screen. So out there by your location, my friend, like I said, obviously the storm's going to remain to your east. It's going to be mostly to your east and all that, but like we were actually explaining here, I mean, we are going to be still seeing, we're still going to be seeing a decent amount of wind gusts out there. I mean, if I actually take it in a little closer to your location, you're just kind of near Lewiston. Let's see. Actually, you're right there in Lewiston, yeah. So whenever it comes to it, I mean, like I said, obviously in terms of these wind gusts, I mean, they could definitely get pretty strong. I mean, according to the blend of models here, I mean, we're talking, maybe up there in the 40s, up to the 50 mile per hour wind gusts area. So, like I said, we could get tropical storm force wind gusts, but the sustained winds are not going to be in tropical storm force. They're going to be subtropical storm force, which is going to allow for this to, obviously not be terribly impactful for you. But like I said, that is that. Let's see here. See, Chris says 5,000 plus people in Bermuda have no power. That's not surprising. Yeah, Bermuda's been getting slammed by those rough seas, and obviously we had those, those tropical storm force winds out there. Now it's definitely a little crazy out there. Let's see. We're gonna hop over to the current wind field. Yeah, so you can see Bermuda. I mean, at this point being, they're basically only halfway through the storm right now. I mean, because look at this. You can actually see here, overall, we obviously have Bermuda right here. They have those tropical storm warnings. This whole yellow donut you guys see here, so this whole yellow circle right here, that is where the tropical storm force winds are estimated to be. That's right where the estimated wind field of tropical storm force winds is at. Then, of course, we have that red. That's where the estimated hurricane force winds are expected to be, 74 plus. So overall, like I was saying here, whenever it comes to it, I mean, obviously the hurricane force winds are estimated to be here. You can see as well to the west here, Bermuda overall, but Bermuda is only about halfway, of its way through the system in general. It looks like in the last little bit, it seems like the system has been actually tracking a bit more to the west. Did y'all see that? You see how it kind of really curves there to the west in general. Or sorry, to the east, not the west. It actually pulls its way up and, turns its way. My pen does not want to work right now. It turns its way here to the east, basically, a little bit. But, this is just a wobble. More than likely, this thing's going to remain on track as it is expected. I mean, all the models are, definitely in agreement mode in general. So, like I said, we're just going to have to definitely, continue watching this here. But, yeah. But that is, that's what we're seeing here. I mean, obviously, that's where the tropical storm force winds are at across the yellow. The red is where the hurricane force winds are at. In terms of the warnings and stuff like that, like I said, we still are they actually just updated all of those areas here that were in those tropical storm watches across the Northeast. We literally have all tropical storm warnings, basically stretching near Rhode Island's coast, throughout portions of Massachusetts on the southeastern side, throughout the eastern side, for New Hampshire's coast, and for the entire entire coast of Maine. Across the blue there, that is tropical storm warnings. That is where tropical storm conditions is expected. And whenever it comes to these areas here in the yellow, this is basically those tropical storm watches. This is where tropical storm conditions are possible and that you need to monitor the situation because those eventually could turn into warnings. I wouldn't be surprised if those turn into warnings here probably by, tomorrow morning should be the time being of when they turn those into warnings. And of course we have the areas across the pink. These are hurricane watches. This is where hurricane conditions are possible. Like I was explaining, still not too confident on the fact that those will mature into hurricane warnings. It's possible, because like I was explaining here, it seems like the storm is going to be right on that tropical storm hurricane force line. It's going to be either a very weak low-end category 1 hurricane, or it's going to be either a really strong upper-level tropical storm. It's going to be, kind of right between that teeter-totter point, like I was explaining here. So we'll see if that does, we'll just have to monitor the observations. We'll have to continue monitoring the system in general. But yeah, like I said, obviously we'll have to keep an eye on it. But anyways, I do expect those watches in the yellow. Those are those tropical storm watches, to be issued here probably sometime tomorrow morning. Is kind of what we're thinking. Like I said, really look at the wind field here. This thing is literally crazy. The sheer size of this. This thing's bigger than the state of Florida. Tropical storm force winds. It is a big wind field. And like I was explaining here, we have ourselves those tropical storm force winds across the areas here in the yellow. That's where the estimated tropical storm force winds are currently at. And of course, like I said, the red, that's where the estimated hurricane force winds are currently at here. So you can actually see how Bermuda is, kind of in that, middle ground of that tropical storm force winds. They're only about halfway over, and there's already apparently a lot of power outages that's been ongoing across those regions there. Let's see, there's already another hurricane forming. Yes, there is. But we'll keep that one on the back burner for now. Honestly, it seems it's a likelihood that this thing could track out the sea for this next one. We have a 90% chance of formation here over the next little bit. That is essentially what we're looking at. It seems like, the most of the models has this thing maybe pulling a little far north, because like I was explaining here, in the early days, usually if you see these storms go really far north in the beginning, more than likely, they usually curve out the sea. They usually do. So with this system really aiming high up north, I wouldn't be surprised if this just becomes a fish storm in general. But we'll just, we'll monitor it. We'll just keep that on the back burner for now. Obviously we got Lee to worry about here at the moment. We don't have to focus on this one right now, but we'll just keep it on the back burner here. We got Margot out there still, category 1, just doing Margot things here. Just kind of doing a weird little loop there. But yeah, Margot's not supposed to cause any problems really to anybody, which is good. But that's that. That's kind of what we are seeing. Obviously, we have another little area here out in the Eastern Pacific, kind of more closer to the Central Pacific. Another little development region. Good likelihood this thing will form. So that's other than Lee, what we're looking at right now. Let's see here. Halifax, Nova Scotia. Well, hello, y'all. Yeah, like I said, no, the Halifax, you guys have definitely got to watch out for. The storm is expected to remain to your west in general. The center, I should say. The center of the storm should remain mostly to your west. And, like I was explaining here, right now you are under a tropical storm watch. Like I said, that means that, tropical storm conditions is possible. So you can see areas out there by Halifax. We are talking literally the potential here of, like I said, tropical storm force conditions. I do expect those to turn to warnings here. Like I said, basically, tomorrow morning, I think is probably when they're going to have those tropical storm warnings out in place, more than likely. So we'll just have to, continue watching that. And tomorrow's update, I'll let you know if obviously if we have those or not. We'll be able to give you guys some information on that in general. But anyways, let's go and hop back over here to the rainfall. And then we'll dive into some models here in a minute, y'all. So whenever it comes to the current rainfall trajectory, like I said, there's a lot of big changes here that's happened with it. Let's see here. I'm legit on the water in Massachusetts. Thank you for your coverage. You're very welcome, Hope. Very welcome. Let's see here. See what kind of winds are expected in Salisbury Beach, Massachusetts. So across the areas here of Massachusetts, obviously a lot of the coastal areas of Massachusetts. Obviously we do have tropical storm warnings in place, so you're expecting tropical storm conditions. Across the coasts of Massachusetts, they could get up, 40 plus miles an hour in general. I'd say probably 50s could be a good possibility as well. But yeah. Yeah, no, that's kind of what we're seeing here. But anyways, but yeah, let's go ahead and hop over here to that precipitation outlook. So this is kind of the latest info, or this is the latest info that's came in from the Weather Prediction Center. Big changes have been made with this. I mean, obviously, like I said this morning, we had a lot of heavy rain for Maine, and it looks like they took out a lot of rain for Maine in general. Really only having the eastern side getting this. I mean, areas out there by Cape Cod, I mean, we're only forecasted to have 1 to 2 inches of rainfall at this point from the Hurricane Center, from the Weather Prediction Center there. They've definitely dropped those because earlier we were talking 2 to 4 inches. I mean, even for these areas here in eastern Maine, that's forecasted to be the heaviest in the United States, with a 2 to 4 inch expectancy. Earlier this morning, those were around 4 to 6 inches, and those have dropped dramatically. With the latest update here that came through, so it's definitely a big change. I mean, they even had those 4 to 6 inch markers even in portions of western Nova Scotia, which I found to be really interesting. Overall, so that is the current information on the like I said, overall here on the precipitation. Nantucket, like I said, we're talking 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in general. Now, next thing we take a look at the surges. They also did downgrade those as well. It seems like the things have been obviously dwindling down. Things have tuned down a bit since the last update, which is good. Obviously we were watching Nantucket and Cape Cod Bay, talking right around 2 to 4 foot of surging being a possibility. And right at this point being, they actually took those away, which is good. However, we're still expecting, right around 1 to 3 foot surges still being a possibility. I mean, literally for these areas. I mean, literally across, coastal Connecticut, coastal Rhode Island, coastal Massachusetts, and, coastal New Hampshire, as well as the entire coast of Maine. We actually are talking, the possibility of at least 1 to 3 foot of surges being a possibility. We still have some surges in southern Long Island here. As you can actually see, right around, 1 to 2 foot of surges is possible out there. So a little bit of surging could be a, possibility in general. But yeah. What's up, Rainbow? Hope you're doing good. Glad to have you here. Let's see here. Ian says, thanks for your broadcast. You're very welcome. Let's see, glad to help y'all. Let's see here. Welcome to peak hurricane season. A lot of, 90% chances in hurricanes. Yeah, we are at peak hurricane season. Actually, we're kind of going over the peak right now. So here soon, in the next couple of days, if we're not already going to start to push down, we're going to start going down the slope. But we are definitely at the peak right now. We've been at the peak for a couple days now. Let's see here. This El Nino really creating some interesting weather pattern. It is. Typically El Ninos don't really allow for, much of a hurricane season in the Atlantic because of increased wind shear, increased trade winds, which is really crazy. Considering we have this really strong or a decent, moderately strong El Nino, and we're still getting an above average season, which is really interesting, really interesting. But, yeah, it's definitely something to look out there for. I mean, the season has been pretty crazy. I mean, we're already a lot stronger, I believe, than we were last year. The season's already stronger, more active than what we had last year in general. But like I said, here we go. So here is the flooding outlook. We did not mention this yet here. So we have at least a 15% chance of flooding occurring across, basically central eastern Maine. I said at least a 15% chance we could see flooding within 25 miles of a given point. For example, so basically a point and within 25 miles of a surrounding area here, we basically are seeing, at least a 15% chance of flooding across the areas here in the yellow, and at least a 5% chance of flooding occurring across the green. So obviously the green is a lower possibility for flooding. If you look closely, they did actually include Nantucket and Cape Cod Bay there as well. So there's a small chance for some flooding related to rain happening across those regions. I mean, obviously we're going to be getting coastal flooding from the surges and stuff like that. I mean, that's basically a given. But in general, from the rainfall in terms of flooding, the rainwater could allow for some flooding. The heaviest would likely be across areas here of central eastern Maine in general. So that's kind of the latest info we have on that. But yeah, I mean, like I was explaining, guys, yeah, they've definitely dropped those accumulations overall. They've also dropped a bit of those surges across the Cape Cod area. For basically, that's just a big update. Cape Cod, they just changed that from 2 to 4 to 1 to 3, and everything else pretty much stayed the same here. So we're pretty much the same overall outlook, except for less rainfall across some of these regions, as well as lower surges. But that's that. What's the chance of wind damage in Connecticut? Honestly, across Connecticut, I'd say, I mean, it's definitely a possibility in some areas. Obviously for the potential rain we could get, may help loosen up the ground a little bit, depending on how much you get, obviously. But, those winds, like we were explaining here, those winds, across those regions even, I mean, we could get those winds upwards of up to 30 plus miles an hour, which can obviously knock down some smaller trees, and it's like dead trees and stuff could easily fall on that stuff. But it's possible. It's not really the biggest threat. I mean, I wouldn't freak out about it or anything. It's, if anything, it's gonna be pretty mild, but mild wind damage is possible there. But for places out there along the coast of Maine and out there throughout central and eastern Maine, I mean, that's where wind damage is probably going to be the most, like I said, probably going to be the most active with the winds and stuff like that. Let's see here. What's up, Velmar? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Jason says, good evening. I live in the middle of Connecticut. Are we going to feel any wind impacts in the middle of the state? So yeah, like I was explaining, Connecticut, for the middle portion, I mean, we're probably going to see those wind gusts getting up to right around 20s to 30 miles per hour. Seems to be, the possibility out there. So, nothing too extreme. Do I know the duration of time? So the storm is going to we're going to really start to feel those effects across the U.S. here. I mean, really start to happen basically for the late 15th into the early 16th. The heaviest impacts on U.S. soil will probably be here for the morning, afternoon, evening of the 16th. Then obviously as we work our way into the 17th, and that's going to start to roll its way through. So yeah, things are going to definitely clear up here by basically the late 17th. So we're going to start feeling it the late 15th, and it's going to end the late 17th. So we're going to see all the effects gone from the system in general. But that's, that's the timing. Like I said, obviously the worst of it, we're expecting it is to be, across Maine's coast and, central eastern Maine, and as well as Cape Cod. Those regions there are going to be feeling it pretty good. And like I said, the worst time is going to be right around 8 o'clock or so. Right around 8 o'clock is kind of what we're talking about here with the heaviest impacts in general. But that is that. That is what we are looking at. Let's actually hop over to some of these models, y'all. Let's go and start off with the GFS. Let's go and hop you guys over here to the Tropical Tidbits view in general. So whenever it comes to it, like I said, we have the GFS model. We work our way down in time. You can actually see how we have, so there's Cape Cod right there. Here's Nova Scotia. So you can obviously see a lot of that precipitation is launched on the left-hand side. There's a lot of dry air that's going to be pulling its way up here into the right-hand flank of the storm, which could lead to less rainfall for those areas. Let's see here. Jason, coming in with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Jason. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. That's very, very sweet of you. Big shout out goes to Jason. Y'all give Jason a thank you. Very sweet. Thank you so much, Jason, once again. But yeah, like I was explaining, though, we're going to have a lot of dry air on the eastern flank of the storm here. As soon as the storm passes the mid-Atlantic, by like Virginia and North Carolina, which I'll go ahead and show you right now, actually, we're going to be seeing a lot of dry air pull up into this event here, or into the system in general. I mean, you can see right for this in particular view. It's kind of hard to make out here, but this is coastal Maine. So you see coastal Maine, there's Cape Cod right here. There's Nova Scotia right in here. So you can actually see that the air mass that's over Nova Scotia is going to be relatively dry for the most of the duration of the storm here, versus the areas here out west. Obviously, the areas here out west is probably going to be feeling it the worst in terms of the rainfall, I'd say. Like I said, I'm still surprised of how much rainfall they still have for Nova Scotia, considering that there's going to be a lot of dry air and, lack of precipitation. Which I do believe that, yes, the areas of Maine, I think Maine's definitely going to be feeling a lot of the heaviest rainfall out of this here in the U.S. for the most part. I definitely do think that Maine's going to feel more rain than Nova Scotia will, considering that dry air. But the more you make it towards the landfall point, I mean, obviously it's going to be a little heavier out in those regions there. I mean, less, overall a little bit less dry, and that's kind of where that convection is, essentially at in general. Let's see here. Andy as well coming in with the support. Thank you so much, Andy, for the $1 super chat. You rock, dude. Thank you so much, Andy. Very sweet of you. Thank you so much. Jason, Andy, thank you guys so much. Big shout outs go to y'all. Thank you. Big thanks. As well as Hope as well. Hope as well. Thank you so much. You guys rock. I appreciate all the supporters. You guys are very sweet. But then, yeah, once this thing pulls its way in, throughout portions of Nova Scotia into, areas here near New Brunswick, it's going to obviously, decay as it, basically just dies out as it rolls over land here. So it's just going to rapidly weaken once it rolls over to these regions in general. And of course, whenever it comes to those winds in general, like I was explaining here, we're going to get a lot of surging out of this event here. Like I said, probably the heaviest will be felt across these regions, I'd say. Across portions here of western Nova Scotia, we're going to have those winds really cranking in towards the coast. So like I said, we have the counterclockwise movement, and you can actually see here this just basically goes right at the coast. All those winds aim right at the coast, which that's going to be pushing that water in general. That's just overall the expectancy. And you can actually see from this side we're going to have that the wind's going to be pushing water away from the coastline. For this point being in general. Let's see here. Mayastic, thank you so much. Coming in with a $2 super chat as well. You guys are super sweet. I appreciate y'all. Thank you guys. Y'all don't have to donate. Y'all don't have to do this. Like I said, it's never about the money. Never about the money. It never is. But I really appreciate it, guys. Seriously, it really helps out. Because like I said, especially if I'm trying to turn this into my career, this is what I want to do. Like I said, any donation helps out. It's greatly appreciated. But like I said, y'all, you don't have to do this. Just y'all hanging out here and hanging out with us. That's all we care about. Really, that's all. I just want to, make that clear to you guys. We're just here to let y'all know what's going on. With it, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. All of y'all are super support. All of you guys are super supportive. There we go. That's the word. But I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Let's see here. Mayastic, thank you so much once again, dude. Let's see. Do I know if there'll be a big pressure drop in coastal Massachusetts? I get sick from that. Yeah, so across the regions there, we are going to obviously have a pressure drop. That's just typical low pressure system. Out of tropical systems and, nor'easters and stuff. So there in Massachusetts, yes, you can kind of see those close isobars there. Let me actually hop to the northeast. So you see these lines? So those are what we call isobars. The closer they are together, the more quickly pressure drops. The more further apart they are, the more, more longer time it takes for the pressure, or more distance it takes for the pressure to drop in general. There is going to be quite a pressure drop across those regions, unfortunately. A big shift in pressure, and then high pressure is going to build in a couple days after. But unfortunately, yeah, there will be. Let's see here. Bro is struggling with his English. I know, dude. I am. I'm like having a stroke or something. Let's see here. How about the wind here in Capelli, New Brunswick? Let's see here. I don't think my models go out there. Pretty sure they just remain. Let me try GFS. I think GFS is like. Here we go. Maybe this will work. Here we go. Okay, this is in kilometers an hour. Let's go and hop you all to full screen here. So for New Brunswick, in general, so obviously you probably know kilometers an hour. It shows those winds possibly getting up to around 70, 80 kilometers per hour. According to the GFS model, at its peak out there by just New Brunswick in general, most of those places could be right there between 70 to 80 at peak. Obviously with Nova Scotia here right off the coast. Wow, GFS has this thing right at 114 kilometers an hour just off the coast there. Let's see here. Do I think the storm can make a west return in the next 40 hours? No, I think we're good. I think the storm's going to mostly stay on track of what it's doing right now. We had that little wobble we just had a little bit ago. But no, I think we're fine. Let's see here. Clint says, you're awesome, bro. Well, thank you, Clint. Greatly appreciated. How do I know how bad this hurricane might be? So we use a lot of weather models. It obviously helps us see in the future. And between those models, which I'll show you, here's the intensity guidance. This is one way to look at the possible strength here. So in meteorology, obviously, you don't want to take it too low. You don't want to take it too high. The best thing to do in this case is to take that middle ground. Take that, the average between the models. So obviously, over a certain amount of time. So for the first day, we're still going to be in hurricane strength. For day 2, we're going to be probably there in mid-tropical storm strength. And as this thing makes landfall, you can see how it just quickly dies out in general, or starts to weaken quickly. Let's see. I'm here in Bermuda. We're good. That's good, Derek. That's good. And I heard a lot of people have power outages out there, so I said I hope that everything's going all right with y'all. But yeah, no, that's just kind of what we're seeing here. Let's see. Liam says, all right, heading out. All right, see you later, Liam. Thanks for joining. Take care, man. But here you go, guys. So this is the latest satellite imagery. We haven't showed this here in a few minutes. So like I said, there's a lot of dry air really getting to the storm here. Like I said, it's crazy. It's definitely crazy. You know, like I said, obviously the system does not like dry air. You know, tropical systems need a lot of moisture, and it's starting to really pull in a lot of dry air on the system. It's actually going to get more and more dry air as this thing pull its way more up to the north in general. So, you know, like I said, that's going to help a lot of the rainfall potential die out with the more... I think that's the reason why it drops so much, is because of the observations really showing this thing just fall apart. You know, like I said, it really seemed like the precipitation core of the storm is just really falling apart. But yeah, no, that's definitely definitely a factor with this. You can see a lot of the heaviest rain actually in the storm right now would be across the northwest quadrant. Meanwhile, we have this dry air going under the storm and pulling its way up into the right-hand side. Let's see here. Didn't Lee pass west of Bermuda? Yes. Yep, Lee is west of Bermuda right now. Let me actually full satellite this. Let's go full Atlantic view. Let's see here. Roadster says east of Bermuda currently. West of Bermuda. Yep, it's west of Bermuda, not east. Yeah, but so there it is right there. Here's on the big picture. Obviously, we got Margot over here. We got Lee right here. Obviously, we have some more activity in here that we need to be looking out there for. But like I said, yeah, definitely. I said Bermuda is like right somewhere in. I think it's right there actually. Right there, that's Bermuda. That little dot. So yeah, this thing's west of Bermuda. I think it's over 4,000 with power out. Oh, wow, yeah, definitely quite a few. I mean, if you consider Bermuda being a pretty small population in general, I mean it's, you know, definitely quite a bit of power outages with that many people. Let's see here. But yeah, let's see. Stacy says hello from Michigan. What's up, Stacy? Hope you are doing good. Glad to have you here. But let's go ahead and hop back here to the current info on the storm, y'all. I said we haven't really talked about its current state in general. Like I said, right now it is a Cat 1, Category 1 hurricane. Sustained winds of 85 miles per hour with winds getting up to 105. Obviously, like I said, those kind of intermediate tropical storm force winds are kind of rolling through Bermuda right now. So, going to be getting some, you know, obviously tropical storm force conditions for the next several hours here. I mean, we've already been in this for a while now. But yeah, you know, expected to remain a Cat 1 for a couple days. I mean, as this thing approaches by, you know, just east of the Gulf of Maine in general, you know, like I said, we're talking this thing being kind of right borderline Cat 1, borderline tropical storm. You know, it either could be an upper tropical storm or a lower Category 1. That's kind of what we're expecting with the system in general. But yeah, we're expecting the heaviest impacts to kind of be here for the morning of the 16th, obviously through the 16th, through the 17th, and into the early 18th. Seems to be like whenever those impacts start to really kind of let up there. But yeah, the heaviest is going to be felt on the 16th in general. So like I said, obviously, you know, make sure you guys are prepared for it because, you know, we only have like a day left. Tomorrow is really the last day we can, you know, make sure that y'all are prepared for this because, you know, after we work our way into tomorrow night, things are going to start getting a little hairy out there across the coast, which, you know, could be a little impactful for some areas here. So, like I said, you know, just make sure that y'all are ready for this. Make sure that you guys obviously have, you know, enough food and water, you know, stuff like that. Phones charged, obviously, you know, first aid kit, all kinds of stuff. But that's that. Let's see here. White Dove says hello from North Carolina. What's up, White Dove? Hope you're doing good. But yeah, but that's just, you know, that's kind of what we're talking about. Oh wow, we actually got a hurricane hunter in the storm right now. Let's see, how many do we got actually? We just have one mission. One mission that's going on right now. Let's see here. So at the moment, we are seeing the last update. So obviously they've been trying to find the core. They found it right there. It looks like, was 956 millibars, which that is the last last update we have. Let's see here. Kimmy coming in with a $7 Canadian super chat. Thank you so much. Kimmy, that's very sweet, saying thanks for all the info. You're very welcome. Hopefully you'll ride up the storm with us, Nova Scotia, by going live over the weekend. Trust me, I'll be live for this here. Thank you so much, Kimmy. That's very sweet of you. Big shout out goes to you. Thank you so much. That's very, very, very sweet of you. I appreciate it. Coming in with the support. Thank you so much, Kimmy. Once again, big shout out goes to you. And y'all in chat, please give Kimmy a big thank you for that. That's very nice of you. Like I said, y'all know you don't have to do that. It's very generous. But thank you so much, guys. Seriously. Big shout out goes to you, Kimmy. All of our supporters today. You guys rock. We love you. Let's see here. So they flew into the storm and they found around 70, right there around 73 knots wind here. Let's actually measure this real quickly. Knots to miles per hour. So we found 73, which is 85 basically. So that's kind of where it's at right now. So they did just find the the winds that it's still at right now. So let's see here. But yeah, no, they did find the they did definitely find the winds that we're currently still saying that is the peak right now. And so right now we're talking sustained winds of 85 with gusts higher. Gusts right now getting up to 105 is the expectancy. See, prayers for all in the path. Absolutely, yeah. We'll keep you guys in the prayers for sure. I mean, because like I said, this is definitely going to be, a little different for some people. This is typically something you don't really see every day, but but yeah. Let's see here. Will Connecticut be experiencing anything from Lee? Yes. No, Connecticut will definitely feel a bit of those winds, actually. Let me actually hop back over here to the northeast in general. So out there by Connecticut, I mean, obviously we're going to be experiencing some of those wind gusts potentially up to, let me actually do the blend of models here. So the blend has, like I said, maybe they're in the 20s, 30s, mile per hour winds out there. Obviously that's that. We're talking about 1 to 3 foot of surging as well, being a possibility, 1 to 3 foot of surges, being a good possibility, across the coastlines. Like so obviously from, Connecticut on all the way through Massachusetts and even up through all the entire coast of Maine. We're talking about 1 to 3 foot of surging being a possibility out there. So let's see here. Do I live in the U.S.? Yes, I do. Born and raised. But yeah. But like I said, that's just kind of what we're talking about. Once again, in terms of Cape Cod, looks like the models average out, maybe around 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts being possible by Cape Cod. Like I was explaining here, we're going to have a lot of that water being rushed in towards the bay here. And that is going to allow for some surging to be a possibility. They did downgrade those surge totals. Like I was saying here, they actually downgraded the surge totals from 2 to 4 to now 1 to 3. So it's a little bit less, which is good. Let me go and hop you guys over here. So yeah, here's the latest update on that. 1 to 3 foot of storm surge being possible across Cape Cod. Same thing for Nantucket. Most of these areas actually is in that realm of 1 to 3 foot of storm surging being a good possibility out there. Now for areas here towards, like Long Island, we're talking, right around 1 to 2 foot, 1 to 2 foot of surges being a possibility out in those regions. So that's the verdict as of right now. With the rainfall, like I said, a lot of dry areas getting into the system, and obviously it's going to be lowering those overall amounts, I think. In which like I said, we got ourselves a lot less totals expected here at this last update here. Right between Nantucket and Cape Cod, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall is possible. Across eastern Massachusetts, not Massachusetts, Maine. Eastern Maine, about 2 to 4 inches being a possibility. Yeah, Massachusetts, I mean, like I said, Massachusetts, obviously we have the eastern side, just by Cape Cod, seeing about 1 to 2 inches. Everything else should remain under that for the most part in general. But yeah, the same thing for Nova Scotia. We're talking, 2 to 4 inches up there. Central eastern portions here of New Brunswick there. We're talking, right around 2 to 4 inches of rain as well in those regions. So that is the current state of the flooding outlook in terms of rainfall. Remember, this is in inches. For my Canadian friends, obviously y'all probably don't go off of inches, but I think there's 2.5 centimeters. I think it's 2.5 centimeters in a inch, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see how many. centimeters in an inch. Let's see here, 2.54. Okay, so what would that be? So 2 to 4. What is that? Like around like 5 to 10 centimeters. 5 to 10 centimeters of rainfall. I think that's that. Let's see. Ava says, "Wow, thank you." If you're talking to me, you're welcome. See, we use millimeters. Gotcha. Let's see here. I can do the conversion for you. So across this area here in that in this green here, so right there, that's 2 to 4 inches. So that would be let's see here. That would be 50 to 101 millimeters of rainfall. Same thing for these areas here as well. Across the light green here, this would be between 1 and 2 inches, which is between 25 and 50 millimeters. So that's that. That's for my Canadian friends out there. And obviously for us in the U.S., you know, across the green, this light green, by Cape Cod, we're talking 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. And across the dark green by eastern Maine, 2 to 4. 2 to 4. But yeah, that's the conversion. Just had to make sure y'all understand that, you know, to my Canadians out there, got to do the conversion for you guys. Just to, you know, make sure y'all are understanding. Let's see here. Inches is okay, we know? Okay, good. That's good. But, you know, for the people who didn't, obviously, that's that. But, all right, well, yeah, y'all. I mean, that's pretty much what we've talked about. I mean, we're kind of approaching our hour mark here, y'all. So I think we're going to start winding this down here. I got some things I got to do here tonight and, yeah, overall. So we're going to go ahead and call it a stream here for now, here in a few minutes. So, listen, if y'all have any final questions, feel free to let me know, and I will try my best to answer them. But if not, then we'll head off here for now. Before we go, though, let me bring up the HWRF. I'm curious to see what this model has to present here. Let's see. Okay. So HWRF obviously has, yeah, you can see on the right-hand side, see how much dry condition it's at? You know, how much dry air there is? I mean, not as much precipitation on the eastern side as there's going to be on the western flank here in general. You know, like I was saying, you can actually see a lot of the heaviest precipitation across, you know, these areas here in general, which is, you know, pretty crazy. And like I said, you can really see that here with the dry air. Like I said, you can really see that there with the dry air, that brown tan color that's showing, you know, a relative humidity under 50% across, you know, averaged across the atmosphere. And of course, we have the greenish blue that's showing above 50%, 50% or higher across the atmosphere from the surface to the upper levels. So, like you know, that's like I was explaining here, is that the eastern side is going to be pretty dry. The western side is going to be relatively saturated overall. So, let's see, HAFSA. Yep. So you can see, obviously, yeah, these models are pretty solid. I mean, obviously, we do expect this thing to pull into the impact the extreme western side of Nova Scotia. It seems like that's where the system is going to be positioned overall. We got that pinpoint, y'all. That's where it's going to be. That's where it's going to end up, is obviously somewhere in here. So we'll definitely have to continue watching this. I mean, obviously we have, like I said, tomorrow is really the last day you can prepare for this, because, you know, we're going to start feeling the effects probably as early as late tomorrow night. Like I said, almost, I mean, like late evening tomorrow night. We're probably going to start feeling those effects across, you know, the northeast coast. But the heaviest is going to be felt for the morning of the 16th. So really, like I said, tomorrow is the last day you guys can prepare for it. You know, like I was saying, make sure that you guys have, you know, enough food, enough water to last you for a while. First aid kit, flashlight, extra batteries, phones charged, portable chargers have, you know, obviously charge those up as well. Yeah, that's, you know, pretty much what you got to do. And, you know, once again, one last run through. Uh-oh, I think I messed something up now. Oh, boy. I definitely messed that up. Let's see here. Let me fix that. There we go. Good enough. But anyways, like I was explaining here, according to this here's the latest, you know, precipitation one last time. Like I said, between Nantucket and Cape Cod, you know, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. Eastern Maine, 2 to 4. Western central Nova Scotia, we're talking 2 to 4 inches out there. Same thing for central eastern New Brunswick. Overall the same outcome out in those regions too, 2 to 4 inches for the most part. Surges, like I said, they brought the surges down from 2 to 4 to now 1 to 3 across Cape Cod as well as Nantucket. So a little bit less is expected now, which is definitely some good news. Let's see here. Yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on as of right now. For one last thing, like I said, we have tropical storm warnings in effect for basically Rhode Island's, or east of Rhode Island, the coast all the way up here. All the way up here to the end of Maine. And obviously, we have hurricane watches in place there too across western Nova Scotia, southern New Brunswick, and central eastern side of Maine. And those yellow ones across, some of those regions there. We're talking tropical storm watches, where tropical storm conditions are possible. So hurricane conditions expected. Let me rephrase that. Tropical storm conditions expected across the blue. Hurricane conditions possible across the pink. Tropical storm conditions possible across the yellow. That is basically what we got going on with this system. But all right, let's see. There's a wind field. Let's see. Do the wind field one more time, please. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that real quickly. Actually, I'm gonna full screen that. Let me actually bring this over to you. So here we go. So here's the overall wind field. Massive, massive storm here. So basically, this turquoise color is showing you where the tropical storm force winds are estimated to be. And like I said, if I was to measure it from the west side to the east side, we're talking nearly 570 miles. It's like 600 miles. Let's see here. It's like 600 miles. It'll actually let me go that far. Yeah, it's about 600 miles or so from top to bottom. Like I said, whenever it comes to the hurricane force winds, we're talking a good maybe nearly 200 miles worth of hurricane conditions out there, hurricane winds in general. But yeah, that's that. Obviously, we got one more invest we're going to watch out for. It possibly could be a fish storm. We'll see how that plays out in general. Got another guy out here in the kind of eastern Pacific, near central Pacific. We'll keep an eye out there for that one as well. And all right, well, that is pretty much what we got to talk about. That's pretty much what we got to talk about here. Once again, heaviest impacts will be felt for the morning of the 16th, throughout the 16th into the 17th, and all through the 17th potentially as well, across some of these regions up here into the 18th is where it's going to be starting to cool down a bit in general. So, but all right, well, you guys take care. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and head over here to the ending screen. I really appreciate you guys, being here tonight. Thank you all so much for joining, and big shout out goes to our supporters today. I said, definitely thank you all so much for the support. We had ourselves Hope 8 Fear coming in with a big support. Thank you so much, Hope 8 Fear. We had Jason. Thank you so much, Jason Duckman. We had Andy. We had ourselves. Let's see here, Mayistic. I think it is Mayistic. Thank you so much. We had Kimmy as well. Thank you so much. And now we have a support coming in from Little Timmy. Thank you so much, Little Timmy. Greatly appreciated. Saying hi. Hi. Hope you're doing good. But anyways, thank you so much, Little Timmy. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate all your support, guys. Big thanks. But all right, well, you guys take care. The stream's gonna head off here, guys, in approximately 2 minutes. So if there's anything you guys want to go ahead and say to your friends and family, go ahead and say goodbye. Once again, Little Timmy, thank you so much for that. Greatly appreciated. It's a little late on my end over here, but very sweet of you. Appreciate it, guys. But okay, well, you guys take care. Like I said, we'll go ahead and start that countdown here right now. Once again, go ahead and say goodbye to your friends and family. And all right, well, you guys take care, and we will catch you guys here later on tomorrow. All right, my friends, see y'all later. Peace out.